Hey, do you think your life in my country is shit? Imagine being born into a group and, from a young age, already knowing what you're going to be and do for the rest of your life. That's more or less how the caste system works in India. It's an ancient way of dividing society into different groups, and it's hereditary. In other words, you're born into a caste and usually never leave it. Imagine a social pyramid that organizes Indian society. At the top of this pyramid are the Brahmins, the highest caste, composed of priests and scholars. According to an ancient Hindu legend, the god Brahma himself created these castes. He revealed the secrets of human destiny through vibrations in the universe, understood only by the Brahmins, considered superior and born from the head of Brahma. They are responsible for maintaining wisdom and traditions. Immediately below the Brahmins are the Kshatriyas, born from the arms of Brahma. They are the warriors and rulers charged with protecting and administering society. Descending a little further down the pyramid, we find the Vaishyas, created from the legs of Brahma. They are the merchants and farmers, essential to the country's economy. At the base of the pyramid are the Sudras, born from the feet of Brahma. They are the manual laborers and artisans, performing manual tasks and serving the other castes. In addition to these castes, there are the Dalits, formerly known as untouchables. They are considered outside this system and face significant discrimination. Understand better the lives of Dalits, the most oppressed caste in India. Imagine being born knowing your destiny is predetermined. From birth, Dalits are forced to perform humiliating and dirty work. They cannot choose another occupation and are forbidden to associate with or marry people from other castes. It's as if their lives were controlled from the start. In addition to performing degrading work, Dalits face numerous restrictions. For centuries, they were forbidden from learning to read and write. They could not enter temples, drink from the same wells as other castes, and if anyone used the same well, they had to be purified. Dalits even had to wear a bell to warn others of their approach so they could avoid them. Despite some improvements over time, many Dalits still perform work avoided by others, such as disposing of dead animals and cleaning sewers. Within this community, there are specific groups, such as the Musahars, who are so poor that their staple diet includes rats. The Musahars work primarily on the farms of landowners and face significant challenges to survive. In India, the majority of marriages, about 90%, are between people of the same caste. Only about 10% are between couples of different castes. This isn't a law, but social and cultural pressure forces people to choose partners from the same caste. The caste system is so ingrained in society that marrying outside of it can be seen as disrespectful or problematic. Women, in particular, suffer greatly from this. Even though there is no law requiring them to marry within the same caste, societal expectations are very strong. But as times change and more people gain access to education, some women are defying these norms and choosing partners regardless of caste. Of course, this varies greatly depending on the region, community, and individual situation. In recent years, the government and various NGOs have worked to promote equality and combat caste discrimination. Awareness programs, anti-discrimination laws, and educational campaigns have helped change people's mindsets, especially among young people. Furthermore, access to the internet and social media has allowed stories of successful intercaste marriages to be shared, inspiring others to follow suit. In Hinduism, two beliefs are fundamental: karma and reincarnation. Karma is the idea that our actions in this life determine our fate in the next. Reincarnation is the belief that, after death, the soul is reborn in another body. The Dalits believed that if they were obedient and accepted their place in society, they could be reborn into a higher caste in the next life. This led many to accept their situation without question, believing it was a divine test and that they would be rewarded in the next existence. The caste system is so ingrained in Hindu culture that it is difficult to imagine Hinduism without it. The religion uses the concept of caste to maintain social order and justify each group's position in society. The Vaishyas and Shudras, along with the Dalits, form the foundation of the Indian economy. They are the ones who work the fields, produce goods, and provide essential services. Yet, they are often exploited and receive very little for their work. The caste system is, in fact, a mechanism of exploitation. The Brahmins and Kshatriyas, who are at the top, depend entirely on the labor of the lower castes to maintain their lifestyle. However, they fail to recognize this and treat the lower castes with contempt and discrimination. This hierarchy is maintained through rigid social and religious control. The upper castes use religion to justify their position and keep the lower castes submissive. This creates a vicious cycle of poverty and exploitation that is difficult to break. Despite laws prohibiting caste-based discrimination, Dalits still face many challenges in their daily lives. Many are still seen as untouchables and are excluded from various social and economic activities. They have difficulty finding jobs outside of the occupations traditionally associated with their caste and often face prejudice in schools, the job market, and even in temples. Besides economic barriers, Dalits also face serious social barriers. In many rural areas, for example, they are still not allowed to enter temples or use the same water sources as upper castes. These practices maintain a social segregation that is difficult to break. Access to education has improved, but much remains to be done. Many Dalit children face discrimination in schools, which can affect their performance and future opportunities. However, those who manage to overcome these barriers often excel and become examples of success and resilience. With India's independence in 1947, there was a push to officially abolish the caste system. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi fought to improve the conditions of Dalits, calling them Harijans, or Children of God. However, real change took time. Today, we see inspiring examples of Dalits who have overcome adversity. Some have managed to educate themselves, start their own businesses, and even become millionaires. They show that, with determination and opportunity, it is possible to break the cycle of poverty imposed by the caste system. While discrimination still exists, progress is visible. Many Dalits are becoming more active in politics, education, and the economy. This is helping to change society's perception of what it means to be a Dalit and opening up new opportunities for future generations. While the caste system is a characteristic of Indian society, it has its equivalents elsewhere, such as social classes in Latin America. Just as in India, many people in Latin American countries like Brazil face barriers due to their socio-economic background. The difference is that in India, these barriers are more formalized and rooted in religion and culture. In Brazil, social division is based on income level and access to resources and opportunities. This creates a society where people are treated differently depending on how much they earn or how much wealth they possess. It's no wonder that here in Brazil, wherever we look, we see the fake rich, the Dubays. These days, I don't see this as a negative thing, as long as it doesn't harm anyone. It's simply a method of self-preservation to remain sociable and open doors to opportunities. While not as formalized as the caste system, the result can be similar. Some people have access to better opportunities, while others are marginalized. The only way to overcome these barriers, whether in India or Brazil, is through education, equal opportunities, and policies that promote inclusion. In India, Dalits are beginning to make significant progress, but there is still a long way to go. Here in Brazil, we also need to continue fighting to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Have you ever thought about what it would be like if you were born in India? What caste do you think you'd be a part of? Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, or the most suffering of all, the Dalits? If you've made it this far, comment India. That way I can get to know you better and cover more topics that few people talk about countries. I'm counting on you to share this video with a friend who's interested in this topic. See you in the next video, and see you later.